This is my Ringo Vinda Diorama MOC showcase. That's a mouthful, but this was a really cool episode in Clone Wars where we got to board Admiral Trench's ship, which was basically like a big ring that would blockade a planet, and it was over Ringo Vinda, of course, and it is a really interesting shaped ship because it's got these really long, narrow, hexagonal hallways that are all lit up, and it's so cool. It leaves an impression in your mind, and I never forgot about it, and I wanted to build it in a diorama, and I know Lego's never going to, so that's what I did. It was definitely very challenging, and supporting the top was hard to figure out, all these angles, but also trying to be strong enough was a bit challenging, but it was really fun. And as you can see, the walkway is wide enough that you can fit all the figures on it, but it's not too narrow that the back doesn't really look like a tunnel, but more like a background. So trying to fit all the figs but not make it way too wide or way too narrow was a little bit challenging, but I got to enjoy to put tiles and modified tiles together to make cool geometric shapes and try and replicate what I saw on the actual floor in the episodes. It was really fun to go in and screenshot things and try and replicate it in Lego. As you can see, I tried to make those slants on the walls and on the roof glow almost. The light kind of catches those pieces and makes them have a little bit of a glow to it, and I think it looks really cool as the background. And this was a really challenging part of the build to make because that top structure is so heavy, it wanted to pull forward, but I also wanted the back thin enough so that maybe a little bit of light could get through. In the end, I put this black wall behind it. It was actually just 1 brick thick. I put this black wall behind it for structure, and it kind of made the whole back was shining light through, but the other tiles on the top and bottom slants were, so I just decided to block out the back too so that they all have the same amount of light going through it, and it also helps with structure. Obviously, there's all these clips, and that's what holds up the thing, and then I have this chain. You can't really see it, it's because it's black against black, but there's a chain, a Lego chain piece that holds it at that angle so that those clips don't just let it fall down. And then as you can see back here, this is where almost the hyperspace looking panels were, and they were going all along the back and they were all lit up, and I tried to replicate that with trans light blue, trans clear, and trans red pieces so that it looks like the panels are all lit up at least a little bit. And then of course I have the colorful panels, the slant of the actual tunnel. I have those just 1 by however long they are, trans light blue pieces that almost look like they're glowing. And I have this slant back here just resting because I actually couldn't get it to sit at a good angle, but if I just lay it down on top of some Lego slope pieces, it fits perfectly. And then if we kind of look underneath, you can see it's actually hollow. I didn't have the whole thing built on a base. I wanted to save money where I could, and I got to just almost have a completely hollow, empty, colorful base, and I got to cover it all up with the actual diorama itself. And then I wanted to put the figures in a dynamic position so that they look really interesting, so I can capture the battle so it's not too cluttered, but I can also show you the figures. And the clone troopers and the Jedi going at the droids was really hard to fit in there. So I think I had it done pretty well where I could get all the clones in the middle, have Tup a little bit farther back to show that he's obviously having some issues, and then have the Jedi leading the way into what looks like a marching slowly onslaught of battle droids and commando droids, and I actually got to put in some of the new super battle droids. Looking at a couple of figures, I got this Commander Doom from eBay. He's a decaled figure, and I only paid 15 bucks for him. I think it was kind of the start of me deciding to actually make this. So next I got the ARC Trooper 5s. This is Grandpa Clone Customs version with a Jonak Toys cloth set and backpack, and I think he looks really cool as well. And man, they're just so detailed and look great. And this is Tup. He's got that eye drop tattoo, and that's a Jonak Toys head piece. And then he's got, of course, the Grandpa Clone Customs body and helmet. These Doom troops are Grandpa Clone Customs with a Jonak Toys blast shield because that was a very prevalent part of their onslaught into the droids. They had those blast shields, so I wanted to capture that. And then this is Tiplee and Tiplar, and they are some beautiful customs. They're from Big Kid Bricks, and I'm actually not going to pick up Tiplar because she's kind of attached very strongly, and I don't want to risk her not being able to get put back on. So that's how I set everything up. So, I hope you enjoy my mock showcase of the Ringo Vinda Diorama.